So let's start with a question. Because of your experience with the top 5%, what would you suggest brands that are actually kicking off freshly in the market right now? What would be your personal suggestion to them of what are the areas to watch out for?
Yeah, so taking a new fresh start is always the easiest. So, but in general, yeah, the answer actually applies to established brands as well, because
Of course.
everything what counts is the future, not the past. And the first strategic move that a company should think about is the category choice itself. Because if you are in a rising tide, you will grow. That has been shown by research that yeah, to choose wisely the category you are in. If you are a growing category, it already makes life much easier. So that's part one, yeah, to choose wisely the category you want to play in.
Right.
Uh, and then the next step is actually start with customer understanding before creating anything. And the rule is basically, or the reason is basically the tenfold rule. There is a tenfold rule in operations or in a construction when you build, I don't know, an airport or so, whatever. Yeah, the if you do a failure in planning it, even a minor failure, it will tenfold the cost to basically work on those errors tenfold every other step. So, and if you basically misunderstand your customers, where the true demand lies, what are their sorrows, their unconscious needs. If you're not fully understanding that, you're building everything. You're building the product, the strategy, the organization on sand.
Absolutely. I think that's a very good point. I think so coming back to kind of conclude on it, it's understanding your customer needs deeply and then building everything around those needs rather than trying to bring in the market something new or something fresh. Our aim is to give the strength or enhance the strategic thinking rather than replacing it. But at this point, I feel a lot of companies are more focused on the tool rather than the improvisation or enhancing the strategic thinking. What is your opinion about that?
Yeah, totally. So, and of course, there could be a reason to do any kind of things what companies are doing, and what they typically are focusing on is automating what they're already doing, to put it simple, right? Because basically, that's the first instinct. We know, okay, we need to interview people, or we need to crunch this data, or we need to write this text. Can AI do it for us?
Correct.
That's a fair thing, yeah. Or this process is, can AI do it for us? And that's fair, yeah. That's of course, but that's not where the growth comes from. Yeah,
Correct.
it basically can save you if you're if you're lucky. It can save you some efforts, which is great, but it will not make your company or your brand grow. So strategy in terms of aligning the organization to grow, yeah, means in essence doing things better, not just faster or cheaper. So the biggest question with AI is, how can we leverage AI to do things better? And to do things better means, yeah, we need to rethink how we understand the category, the brand, the customer. We need to change our way, because doing things better means something is not still perfect right now.
Correct. Totally. Totally. And I think, the thing is, The focus in the market at this point is all about how to abuse the tool, not how to enhance people's mindset. And that is a concern. But this is a natural evolution. Whenever something new comes in, you always exhaust it. You never go to it in and use it in the right format. And that's what I like about what you've mentioned about your top 5% and what you've talked about your tool as well before. There is an intelligent way of thinking, and the human mind is quite involved in it. So that's a good thing. And branding in our market research is very, very focused at this point on the abuse of AI. And again, I don't even like using that word AI because it's so aggressively being used at this point of time. So what do you think personally, what is the biggest myth and branding in market research today?
Um, so to build on what you're saying is what we need, yeah, and we can make AI more productive for us
Hmm.
if we have wisdom on the human side.
Right.
So uh, yeah, so we can only there must be someone who asks the right question to AI, and so this means if you are a mediocre thinker or mediocre expert, you will create mediocre outcomes with AI. And there are a lot of um, misunderstanding basic uh, beliefs about how the customers buy that are actually has been proven wrong. That market research is building on. Uh, um, Maybe two examples: AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. That's how everything is built on. Yeah, we need to create attention. The attention span is uh, shrinking, uh, and that's all from the mindset that this is the way we can convince customers. We need to first make them aware. Neuroscience has been proven that this is not how it works. Yeah?
Hmm.
So you do not need attention to convince people to buy stuff, um, and that's a longer discussion. Where that's why I wrote this book. But
Good.
there are these fundamental misbeliefs about how customers decide, which wrecks wrecks up the whole system, which KPIs we look at. Uh, and this goes into the obsession into data. Yeah. Oh, we need to be data driven, yeah, whatever. So all fair. Data is a good thing to quantify stuff, and it's a raw material for insights, but it's not insights. Data is just numbers.
Correct. Yep.
So the insights, in essence, what we're looking for is something. What works? What should I do to create success? Yeah, and this is a question for cause and effect. And this answer of what's the cause of success is not in data. Yeah, data are just numbers. These numbers may mean something. So someone else needs to know the meaning of these data points. But what we really want to know is between the data, what is causing the outcomes?
Right.
So we need someone who knows what the data means and that applies technology that can help us to uncover this cause and effect learnings, which is not per se in data. So data alone is useless if
Totally.
you are not having the context information and you are not using causal inference techniques to learn from it.
And that's very interesting you say that because definitely our own tool, which is Opsonomy One, is also focused on structured data and unstructured data. How you bring that together, not only what people are saying to you, but also what the market is talking about at this point of time. When you bring them together, you realize, are they really matching up? Are they really talking the same language? If somebody says, we have been loving this new launch of XYZ, is the market saying the same thing on a louder noise, on social media, on social listening? Are we talking about the same thing? So you're totally right. But for all that combination, you need some kind of a mind sitting in between and saying, yes, I qualify that this makes sense, and I disqualify that this doesn't make any sense. Because these could be two different aspects that could give you guidance in two different directions. One could be saying, this is great. One could be saying, this is okay, and that could make you take a wrong decision. So I guess it's a good timing and a good opportunity for coming out with tune and a perspective. And definitely, I would encourage all people who are listening to this to read your book, and definitely will promote the book strongly to make people understand. And your book has a very simplified version of all these explanations, which is also interesting for most of the readers to go through and understand, because it is very basic, very clearly formatted, which makes you understand like a storybook, but yet it's a very conclusive kind of book. I'd like to understand, if you were to make a roadmap, what would be the first and the second and third step?
So typically, I go along management principles.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
and if you follow those principles, you can align what you're doing. And the most important principles I would like to point out is first the excellence mindset.
mhm.
So in my book, I show that just 5% of brands succeed in all those different steps, just a few really making great impact. And this basically conclusion is that it's not enough to do standard or state of art methods or thinking. You need to thrive for excellence, and only this thrive for excellence, this philosophy will enable you to achieve that.
Correct.
And the second thing is that there is no hack. There is really success is a chain. It's a success chain, and you need to find the bottleneck where your bottleneck is. Fix that, then the next. And lastly, what I already mentioned earlier is following the tenfold rule. That the first step is really customer understanding, and this sounds a little bit, uh, yeah, isn't that clear? Of course, we understand our customers, but when we look, when I look in the past projects, what we did in the last 15 years, the majority of companies do not really understand what unconsciously really driving their categories.
True.
So we need to be humble how much really we understand the category, and with this excellence mindset, dive deeper. That would be my advice.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your advice. I mean, it's all about excellence. It's about the chain. It's about thinking through of what your customers really need. And I think there's a lot to learn. So I definitely encourage everyone to go through this book and understand what it is. It's very much available on Amazon. Definitely, we look forward to also working with companies that are struggling at this point of time, companies that are looking for. So once again, Frank, thank you very much for being on this call. I really appreciate your time,
Thanks for the invite.
and it has been a lot of fun. Thank you very much, and take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, Pratik.